Hello, thank you for tuning into the Natural Health Rising podcast. My name is Rachel Smith. I am a certified functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, and I've helped hundreds of people naturally reverse symptoms of autoimmune diseases and other health challenges, from digestive issues to hormone imbalances. And in these weekly episodes, you're going to learn from myself and top health experts from around the world about functional medicine and holistic health tips to help you rise to your healthiest, happiest self. On today's episode, I have Maggie Berghoff with me. Maggie is a functional medicine nurse practitioner, an entrepreneur, and USA Today national bestselling author of Eat to Treat, your 3-step plan to reduce inflammation, detoxify your life, and heal your body. Maggie is also a proud mother of 3 children, embodying the balance of a thriving career, a fulfilling family life, and healthy self. Welcome to the show, Maggie.
I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me, Rachel.
Yeah, Maggie, for people listening who don't know you, please share a little bit more about your story of how you got into functional medicine and how it's transformed your life personally.
Well, I was already interested in health and wellness from a young age. I always dreamed and wanted to be a nurse practitioner and help people with their health. I felt I was living a healthy lifestyle, even, at a young age in high school and college. I then learned it wasn't fully a healthy lifestyle, but the point is I knew that I wanted to do health related something. And so what happened is when I graduated and became a nurse practitioner, a few things happened. Number one, I recognized that the traditional medical model was not really aligned with how I wanted to help people with health and wellness. And number two, I had a bunch of symptoms basically, and was bounced around from doctor to doctor with no answers other than to take these prescription medications. And so that kind of storm of being unaligned in this traditional career that I had chosen and also going through my own health journey led me to finding out functional medicine. I had literally never even heard of it. My aunt told me to Google the name. And so I enrolled into what's called the Institute for Functional Medicine to learn more about this, solely to heal my own body. Of course, long story short, I was forever changed. I recognized this is the true way that I want to be healed myself as well as help others with their health. And that kind of perfect storm of passion and new realized potential is what led me into functional medicine and starting my online practice.
That's amazing. What was the first thing that you did when you started using functional medicine where you're like, oh, wow, this is really working for me?
Actually, I don't talk about this often, but really the first thing, even before like reducing toxins and even before any of that, was getting specialty functional medicine lab testing. Because when I was in the traditional medical model, myself as a nurse practitioner as well as a patient, I was getting a lot of lab tests like CBCs and normal lab tests, ultrasounds, scopes and scans, you name it, I got it. And a lot of times on those tests, at least in the first year of my health decline, it actually showed all results normal. Or it would be like subnormal, or sometimes like eventually the lab test did show abnormalities, but then there was no reason for why those were abnormal. And so there was just a medication that they cross-referenced to the abnormal to put me on. And so really the first big thing, like the big aha moment, was recognizing that there are other lab tests out there that show things like deep hormonal imbalances, nutrient deficiencies, malabsorption, maldigestion, food intolerances, gut parasites, heavy metal toxicity, all these things that the traditional lab test didn't test me for. And that really helped me because suddenly I was looking on a piece of paper seeing like, oh, this is what's wrong. I'm not crazy. There is something we can fix, and here it is. And now I know exactly what to do to personalize my healing journey forward. So that was a big moment for me that really helped me even just get clarity on what's going on and that there is a way to fix this. It's not some mystery illness. There are reasons for why I was feeling the way I was feeling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is really, really exciting the first time you get to see a functional lab on yourself. Because I remember my journey as well. I was like, whoa, people have been running, again, CBCs and normal blood panels and just missing all of these things inside of my body. And it is so, it can be scary at first because you're like, oh, wait, whoa, there's like parasites and things inside of me. But also it is exciting because now you finally have the steps and the roadmap to take to move forward. Mm-hmm. I'm curious, there's lots of different labs out there, but we'll just touch on this for listeners. Are there a few labs that you typically like to run with clients and you see are the like have the biggest impact for people?
Yeah, there are actually. There are really, it comes down to a core few, maybe three, maybe four as a bonus that I think every human should get when you're going through your health journey. And then even when you feel well every year, just like you would get like an annual physical, like I would recommend you get annual lab work and functional medicine lab work. So number one for me especially was food intolerance testing, which is actually really controversial because a lot of the testing out there is not great, it's not specific, and it's inaccurate, and it can give you false indications. However, there's one specific one that I get and I love it. It's called ELISA, LRAACT. It is like $1,000 for this one test. So it is an investment, but I love it. It's the most accurate test for food intolerance. And for me personally, and for a lot of my clients, we just want to know black and white. You know, if I'm eating this celery that everybody says is healthy, but for me personally, it's causing an inflammatory reaction, it is very easy for me to take out the celery for 6 months while I heal my body. So it's helpful to know like, okay, here are the things that I'm just not going to have in my nutrition for the next 6 months as I'm healing my body, so I can decrease inflammation as much as possible. Even if the results aren't 100% on point, you're doing a big decrease in inflammation, which gives your body more energy to be able to heal during that time. So food intolerance test, specifically the ELISA, LRACT. The other test that I love is a 3-day stool exam. I use Genova Diagnostics to get specific. And so the 3-day stool exam shows all the insight into your gut microbiome, which we know is super important in all aspects of your health. It's if your gut is not working properly and your gut is inflamed and fighting, then your hormones and your neurotransmitters and your detoxification pathways, everything is going to be askew. And so the 3-day stool exam. The other one that I love is from also Genova Diagnostics called NutriVal or Metabolomics Plus. You'll probably hear both of those words. They're basically the same test. We typically use the Metabolomics Plus because it's an easier test to do at home. It's a finger prick test and a urine sample. So super easy to do, and it shows you every nutrient level. It shows you your ATP pathways, your mitochondrial health, heavy metal toxicity, lots of different great things that you can detect in your body. For me, it was cool because I was bloated. This is just an example, but I was bloated all the time. So you might think, oh, take digestive enzymes. But on my Metabolomics Plus, it actually showed me that my digestive enzymes are perfectly fine. So you might think you need to do one thing because that's kind of like the normal insight. But really, if you test your body and you see, no, I've got plenty of digestive enzymes, they're working fine, that's not the thing that you need to focus on. And then nutrient levels, because if your nutrients aren't on point, they govern every aspect of your body's functioning. And so that's something very clearly, you can see exactly what your magnesium levels are. So you know exactly what supplements to take, what lifestyle changes to make to feel your best. And then the kind of fourth bonus one I will say is the hair tissue mineral analysis. It shows really great insight into balances and imbalances in your body, as well as heavy metal buildup. And so that's a good, easy test. That one's very inexpensive as well. So if you're just like kind of trying to pick what test to do, that hair tissue mineral analysis shows some cool stuff and it's really affordable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are all so good. And I do want to repeat and highlight something you said, which was when you do the food sensitivity testing, that you're only taking the foods out for 6 months while you heal the body. Because I can't tell you how many people have been like, oh, Rachel, I'm sensitive to all these foods. And so I haven't been eating them for years and now I can't eat anything. I'm like, whoa, that is not the purpose of that. It is really just meant to say, hey, the immune system is reacting to these right now. We also got to work on your gut health and do other things to heal leaky gut and the intestinal lining. And then you can try to reintroduce that food later. So it's not a forever thing when you do the food sensitivity testing, which is different than food allergy testing. So just to clarify that, I'm so glad that you said that.
That's a good point. It is true. I've also had clients say that same thing, like, well, I can't have carrots. And I'm like, why? Like, I did a food intolerance test a couple of years ago and it said carrots were inflammatory. So it is a common misconception. It's a really cool tool though. If you think about, you know, some people maybe don't want to do it or are fearful because they don't want to restrict or take out certain foods. But the one that I run tests for 405 items. And if you think about how you're feeling, I take them out for 6 months. A lot of people will do like 6 weeks to 3 months. I just clear it for 6 months while we dedicate 6 months to healing your body. And if you think about it, like 6 months in the grand scheme of your entire life to completely transform your body from now until forever. Like I eat anything that I want now, and it doesn't impact my body that way because I've built resiliency and my body is built up to be able to handle that. So 6 months and like the great scheme of your life is nothing. It's actually a huge status upgrade to know exactly what to remove and exactly what to add in order to feel your best at the end of the transformation.
I love bringing that up as kind of like a mindset hack, right? Like really dialing, okay, how long is 6 months really in the grand scheme of your entire life? And it can really help shift people's thinking to want to do that hard work in that short time span. And while we're on the topic, I know that you think, mindset is a really important part of what you do. So are there other mindset tips that you have or mindset shifts that people can adapt to help them start making changes with their health and stick to them?
Yeah, there are a lot. If my mindset helped me heal in a big way because it kept me going when I felt very helpless and frustrated and unmotivated. When you're feeling not your greatest, like you just don't feel yourself. And so a few things that I always told myself was, it's simple. I always just said, never give up. Like I would just tell myself, like, never give up, never give up. So every time that I was told by a doctor that there was no hope or that I just have to take this pill, or I had a really bad week and I felt like crap, even though previously I was making some progress, I just reminded myself, never give up, never give up. Another thing is that like you can heal. You can heal. Your body is smarter than anything out there. It can rewire, it can totally transform if you give it a helping hand in the right direction. And so if you're doing what you can each day to give it a little helping hand by eating foods that are nourishing, by reducing your stress, by sleeping well, by getting outside, if you're giving it the tools that it needs, it's going to do the way harder work on the inside to rewire and heal. So that, and then another thing specific to food is I always said to myself, I eat to nourish my body. And this was a big transformation to me because initially I've had my whole long story about relationship around food. And when I was healing, it was even heightened because now I was like almost afraid of food. Even when I was eating very healthy food, like a bowl of steamed broccoli, it would still make me inflame. And this made me super confused and frustrated. Like I'm trying to do a good thing and it's still backfiring on me. And so I went through a lot of mental strain around food and focusing on eating to nourish my body and zero restrictions, but every day waking up and being like, okay, what can I add? No calorie counting, no care for macros, no timing meals, just what can I add to flood my body with nutrients so it can have what it needs to heal? And that's really what I focused on, is kind of treating myself as like a little baby and giving myself TLC of as many nutrients that I could think of, a variety of nutrients, not eating that same strict thing every single day. And that was transformational. And as I started to do this, I started to care less about food. I started to naturally want healthier versions of food. My body started to heal, even though I was not dieting. I was not counting calories. I was not counting macros. I was not eating at certain times. My body started to heal. I started feeling amazing. And I beat that. I no longer have any type of, mindset issues around food. And that was transformational. And that really helped me on my journey of healing, because it can be hard when you're trying to heal and figure out what diet you should follow or, what you're supposed to do. And this was really helpful for me. So those are some key mindset things that really helped along my journey and that I pass on to you and to all of the readers of Eat to Treat.
Yeah, I think I love the idea of just listening to your body as you're doing these things, like choosing nourishing foods, but then listening, right? So it's like you ate the broccoli and it sounds like it didn't work for you at that time, but maybe you could choose asparagus and that felt good. And they're like, oh, well, this is nourishing my body. And not focusing on what somebody is telling you, like vegan and carnivore and all of these things. It's like you can test and try these things out. And again, saying like those mantras to yourself is so amazing too. And just figuring out, okay, this is my journey and I need to try different things and just keep moving forward. And there is a way to heal my body internally. You just have to navigate that for yourself and also find possibly a really good functional medicine practitioner to help you identify some of those things through lab testing too. Mm-hmm. So you just mentioned your book, Eat to Treat. In your book, there is this, it's like a 3-step plan, right? And so what are the big important steps, and how do these things work together to support healing from a variety of symptoms and diseases?
Yes. So I'm very excited about the book because it simplifies everything. It's all science-backed, but in a way that's easy to understand. And instead of being super complex and like these crazy habits and these really expensive tools that you need to do, I really break it down into these 3 core steps that are going to allow you to heal. And step 1 is what we kind of just talked about, is figuring out what the heck is going on in your body. If you are just like blindly taking supplements or blindly following a diet or lifestyle, crossing your fingers it works, that is the wrong thing to do. So step 1 is called identifying your inflammation type. It's really just figuring out what's going on inside of your body. I do recommend functional lab testing, but I also have a great inflammatory assessment in there. You can get all these resources on the book site, eattotreat.com. But there's a great inflammation assessment that basically asks you a bunch of questions and spits out, kind of what we think your primary and secondary inflammation types may be, and also the severity of that, so that you have more clarity on what might be going on. Of course, gold standard is just test your body to see exactly what it is, but the assessment is fantastic too. And so part 1 is all about finding out what your unique situation is. And then the rest of the book really kind of dives into how, based on your inflammation type that we identified, what are some key things to do. So in part 2 of the book is all about actually lifestyle. I know the book is called Eat to Treat, but part 2 is about lifestyle, about mindset, about biohacking, about your life, really just living. There are so many tools in there, from detoxifying your home and hygiene products that you use to reduce inflammation, to a huge mindset shifts in your life, to getting outdoors and grounding, to movement, to sleep hygiene, to biohack things. I mean, it really is like a complete guide to creating an environment to thrive. That's what I call it, is creating an environment to thrive. When you set these things up, I mean, you can pick only even 1 or 2 things in this entire part 2, and you are going to be giving your body such a huge helping hand that you're going to be reducing inflammation significantly, which is going to allow you to heal. And then in part 3 of the book, that's the core, that's Eat to Treat. Part 3 is Eat to Treat. And we don't focus on a diet, more so we focus on reducing inflammation. We focus on mindset around food, how to eat in a better way for your digestive system, how to eat in an anti-inflammatory way, not just for 4 weeks, but long-term, so that you really have a great long-lasting relationship with food that actually heals your body from now until forever. And so part 3 is all about that. There are recipes, there are recommendations, there are little mantras for food, lists of things that I would probably prefer you to avoid in your food, like certain additives that are going to cause inflammation. It's a great mix of really like high education with very tangible things for you to do right now.
Mm-hmm. Could you discuss some of those dietary strategies that seem to be most effective to reduce inflammation, even though there's like these different inflammation types and things out there? But what are some heavy hitters for people that they could try?
Yeah, and severity. So like, I'm at a certain level with my health now that I don't need to do perhaps what I did when I was first really struggling. So that takes into consideration too. But I would say that anyone who comes through my door or who picks up this book, if you're struggling with any symptom, you will probably feel better if you reduce or kind of eliminate for a period of time. That's the key, a period of time. Dairy, grains, not just gluten, but also grains. So even like organic, gluten-free brown rice. So dairy, grains, and sugars. This is going to reduce inflammation. This is going to make your gut have an easier job to break down and to utilize your nutrients from your food. This is going to help you feel better. And so those are 3 things that I kind of say, like, the 3 things that are going to help you to reduce inflammation the fastest, easiest is by focusing on reducing or eliminating dairies, grains, and sugars for a period of time. This isn't for forever. Once your body is healed, your gut lining is sealed, and you feel amazing, yeah, you can have grains, you can have high quality dairy, you can have sugar. It's not going to completely derail all your progress. But if you are in the thick of healing and you've never done this before, I would recommend removing those 3 things and seeing how you feel. There are some other
Mm-hmm.
things as well. I also removed alcohol when I was in the thick of my healing. I did not drink alcohol, even organic alcohol. And I actually have a chapter in the book, I forgot all about that till just now, of how to eat when you're, how to order at a restaurant when you're eating out. And also how to order a cocktail or a drink at a bar if you are drinking, or what to make at home if you are drinking. So even if you are going to have alcohol, I have a whole section telling you how to make it healthier. And that is something that I did when I was going through my health journeys. If I was going to have it, I'm going to make it healthier. And that's a huge upgrade. It's not like an all or nothing. If you just throw everything to the curb, if you're going to drink that night, no, you can optimize, you can make this healthier, you can support your body through this. And so that's another thing though, if you are like in the thick of your healing journey, considering taking out alcohol completely. Like, alcohol is not going to heal your body. It just won't. Sugar is not going to heal your body. It won't. So those are things that if you're serious about healing your body and like this is the moment to do this, then I would consider removing those while you're really trying to heal.
Mm-hmm. I love that the book has this, these different levels to things, because it really is so individual. And I remember I could not have dairy for a long time. That one was really hard for me. Bad cramping and digestive problems. And just, I felt terrible when I would eat dairy. And now I have goat cheese and I have dairy sometimes, I have grain sometimes. Like, my body is to a place where it feels good and I know how to regulate those things and what feels good for my body now. So I love that you explained the modulation in there that you can control on your own depending upon where you're at.
Yeah. And it just gives you hope. So like when you're in the when you're in the thick of things, it's hard to ever imagine a world where you could have these things again, or a world where you actually did heal. And so that goes back to the mindset of just, taking it day by day, knowing that you are going to heal. You are going to get through this. You are going to be able to eat again without bloating or without having digestive distress or without breaking out in acne. You're going to heal. It's just a matter of time and of trusting the process and trusting yourself through that time.
Yeah. And that's why this podcast is so important, and so many other health podcasts. And I think that's why so many people also always like to hear, like, okay, tell us your story about your health journey, because it's important for everybody out there to hear that, yeah, we have all gone through really bad times with our health, and we've all been able to overcome that, even when it didn't feel like it when we were in that place. So such an important reminder. If someone is feeling overwhelmed by nutrition right now, because I know that if you're still eating standard American diet, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is all overwhelming, what would you tell them to help eating healthy feel easier and less stressful?
I love this question. I have literally worked with clients that all we do is replace their normal Starbursts with organic version of the Starburst. So my first thing to do is, if you are very overwhelmed, is to look at your pantry, look at your fridge, look at your freezer, do what I call is a pantry, fridge, freezer detox. And the first step is to throw out everything that's expired. That's like one of the things, like clean it, because truly a clean, organized space, I talk about this in part 2 of the book, a clean, organized space is not just for aesthetics, it is healthier for you. You will feel better. You will want to make healthier choices. You will feel less cluttered. And so step 1 is like detoxing those areas where your food is, getting rid of the expired stuff. And then once that's kind of like cleared out, then I want you to take inventory of what you love to eat and find a healthier swap for that. There's a whole section in the book actually that is like, it swaps. It's like, if you love this arrow, buy this instead. If you love this, buy this. If you love this, try this. And the swaps are so critical, because you might say you love family lasagna night. Well, that's great. You can still make family lasagna night. You don't have to, even though that's grains and dairy typically. The first step is just swapping out the ingredients. And if you are using ingredients that are actually like real food ingredients and don't have all the inflammatory excess oils and chemicals and toxins in them, then you're automatically having a lifestyle upgrade. And since you currently perhaps are like really far away from maybe where you think like people are saying to be, even that little upgrade of the different type of noodle, the different type of pasta sauce, the different type of cheese, the different type of meat, That upgrade, because you're having less inflammation, can make a huge impact in your life, but you're still eating the lasagna. Or in the first example, like you're still eating that Starburst. It's just better ingredients, less inflammation. It's going to help you. Now, the cool thing is that once you figure out these swaps, which luckily for you, there are swaps for literally everything nowadays. Anything that you have, I guarantee you, I can find you a swap for it. And so once you find these swaps, you're reducing inflammation. And when you reduce inflammation, your body starts to heal. And when you start to heal, you start to feel better. So now, as you feel better and your neurotransmitters are starting to regulate and you're feeling a little less anxious and you're feeling a little more motivated and you don't wake up feeling so groggy and headachy, you're waking up feeling kind of good, you want to make healthier choices. It becomes a lot easier to then take that next step to maybe upgrade your wellness further. It really, like, no shame in starting there. In fact, I think you should start there if you are really far away from what you might hear us talk about or other people who promote wellness talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there really are so many swaps nowadays for everything. I remember when I first got diagnosed with Hashimoto's years ago, there was not like all these like cassava pasta and all these other things out there and cool sauces for autoimmunity. Now, I also tell my clients the same thing. I'm like, I can find you a swap for anything. Challenge me. I will find it for you. So it's very doable. You have 3 kids. So how have you navigated healthy eating and healthy living with your kids? Do you have strategies for moms out there who want to make sure that they're raising their kids as healthy as possible?
Well, just that, the swaps. I mean, our family, we are by no means perfect. We still have sugar in our household. We still have, different traditional things in our household. They're just healthier versions of it. I will say that when my kids, just to give context, are ages 3, 4, and 7. So when I only had one baby and the kid was a baby and then a toddler, honestly, it was so easy. We didn't have that stuff at all in the house. But as the kids got older and school and play dates and things like that, birthday parties, it just happens. And so what I love to have is healthier versions of things in the house so that even though maybe they're having like cookies after dinner, they are really good quality. They're anti-inflammatory. It's a much healthier version. They don't feel deprived because they're pumped. They're getting a cookie and it's a great option. And so that's really it, is the swaps. At holidays, we do a lot of just the swap types of candy, but they are still eating candy. And yes, it still is sugar. Sugar is sugar. But your body kind of knows what to do with sugar if it's healthy. But it's the chemicals, the food dyes, the colorings, the toxicities. That's what we're eliminating when we make these healthy swaps. So really that's the best thing is the healthier swaps. They don't know any different. And if they are maybe older, like maybe you have teens and you're laughing at me thinking like, no way, my kids are eating Pringles. They're not going to eat the alternative. Just trust me that if you buy the alternative, they might complain at first, but there are so many great alternatives now and great recipes that it tastes very good and they'll get used to it. And then usually what happens, this happens all the time, is that then suddenly the old version of whatever you were buying doesn't even taste good anymore. You actually prefer the new version. Your taste buds have changed. You want this new version, the healthier version that you eat. And so at any age, it's never too late to create those swaps and you can really find anything that you want. But that's really the number one thing that we do in our household is everything, truly everything pretty much is organic, real ingredients. The processed food that we have in our pantry is like very minimally processed or only a few ingredients in this food. And then a lot of our food is in the fridge and freezer and it's just real food.
Mm-hmm. Are there some specific brands or quick snacks to give children? Because I know sometimes maybe a mom wants to like, okay, the kid is crying, I'm going to drive through McDonald's. Is there something else that we can do?
Yes. And again, when I had just one child, not saying if you have one kid, it's all easy for you, but when I had one kid, I would home make these items. I would home make like granola bars or like little balls and like little things like that. I don't do that anymore. So I do rely on packaged goods for snacks. So for snacks, I love brands Made Good. I love the brand Lesser Evil. Our kids love meat sticks from brands like, oh my gosh, Paleo Valley meat sticks are their favorite meat sticks. So like little things like this that don't require refrigeration are fantastic. We always travel with this. It's always in the car during like weekends, soccer and baseball and activities, golf, all that kind of stuff. So that they can have a quick snack. But made good, lesser evil. Quinn, we love Quinn, which is a great one for like pretzel bites and just little snacks. And then Simple Mills is also a good one for kids. There are a lot of great options for kids. The brand that I mentioned for the basics that we like the most, they also have bars that our kids like. And bars, health bars for our kids at least, has been a challenge. They don't like a lot of the health bars on the market, but they do like that brand. Paleo Valley has a great health bar that they really like.
Amazing. I want to get into toxins a little bit. And while we're talking about the kids, have you found anything surprising when it comes to toxins in your kids' things, like kids' clothing, kids' bedding, toys, children's supplements, anything like that?
All of it. I feel like if I went back in time, I could have created a whole business around like non-toxic babies and nurseries and toddlers, because I got deep into that. I researched endlessly for things like the car seat I should buy for my child, the mattress, the bed, the crib, the toys, the everything. And so we did super non-toxic living for our babies and toddlers, especially. Even the toys, like the type of paint that is on the toy, I researched all of that. And I was a very non-toxic mom and nursery and toddler type of stuff. But yeah, it's shocking. Like the things that, for example, a car seat, your child is sitting in that a lot of the time. It's getting heated from the sun. They're right next to it. Same with your cribs and their bedding sheets and their pajamas. And a lot of, like for pajamas and mattresses and sheets, a lot of the products have flame retardant on them, and then they off-gas all of these chemicals that really harm our child's health. And so by opting for the organic, the natural, and then also like natural dyes, if you want the rainbow sheets, that's great. Get the rainbow sheets. There are brands now that make it from natural color dyes instead of the more toxic alternatives. And it's just these little things that add up to make a huge difference in your child's life and in your home. And so those are things that we've done with our children. And yeah, I was shocked finding out that even their little toys, and I kind of knew at that point, like I don't want my kid chewing on some plastic rattle, So I kind of knew a little bit what I was looking for when I embarked on that journey.
Mm-hmm. What about other products in the home? So I think about the big things that we're in contact with all the time, which is like makeup, our skincare stuff, body wash, cleaning products. Do you have any favorite brands or swaps for these things to reduce toxin load?
I do. I have a ton in the book. I also have this huge PDF resource of like all my favorite ones at the book website that you can download. And then for me, like some basic ones, when I was first going through my healing journey, I used a ton of Dr. Bronner's. Now that I'm a little bit like more healed, I've like adventured through other products as well. But that was a great starting point for me, is Dr. Bronner's unscented. That's a key thing with healing too, is you want unscented everything as much as you could possibly get, like unscented detergent for your laundry, unscented dishwasher soap, unscented hand soap, unscented lotion, unscented everything. This is going to help you to heal. And so now we do use some scents here and there, but pretty minimal, and always, of course, like organic essential oil type of scents versus fragrances and perfumes. But Dr. Bronner's was a great one. We love the cleaning products from Branch Basics. So Branch Basics basically like completely took care of all of our cleaning for the house, like countertop cleaning and glass cleaners, things like that. For laundry detergent, Branch Basics also actually can act as a laundry detergent. Molly Suds is also one that is popular, but we love that. For makeup, that was a big one for me. I completely went cold turkey. I like trashed all my makeup and replaced it all at once. And same with skincare. And it was transformational. So with makeup, some of my favorite brands are Ilia. So Ilia, Kosas, Honest, and Beauty Counter. Those are some of my top favorite brands for makeup. And then for shower stuff, Kosas has like a great shower thing. Primally Pure has some great shower, like shower cleansers and lotions as well. And so those are some things that I like. I mean, I could like rattle off for a whole hour on this topic, but these are some things that I start with. And I would just encourage you to, make a list of a certain area. This is what I'm doing with my clients. So we'll make a list. We'll target one thing at a time. You don't have to do everything at once. We'll be like, okay, house cleaners. And then we'll bullet point the house cleaners that they use every day. Like, okay, I need a counter cleaner. I need my, whatever, my floors, so whatever. And then we'll tackle like, okay, what are the alternatives that we can try? Okay, let's move on to the bathroom. What are the bathroom items you use every day? Hygiene, skincare, shower, makeup, hair care. And then like target it one at a time to start making those swaps. This breaks it up into easy, tangible steps. You do not have to do this all at once. It's definitely a journey to detoxify your home, but it's essential. It really is essential.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I know some people think that, oh, it's just a little bit, well, I'm just putting it on my eyelashes, or I'm just like putting a little blush on my cheek or something. But I mean, it gets into our skin. And then I heard something recently, and it's going to vary how much you use it, but it was like, if you apply lip balm every day, you eat like 4 tubes or something, 3 or 4 tubes of lip balm a year if you're applying it. So do you want to be ingesting those chemicals? And, you want to put stuff on your skin that is whole food based if possible. Like I know Primally Pure's chapstick is made of beef tallow. So you're like actually getting whole food on your skin. But it's so important to start to make those swaps. It could be such a big game changer.
Yeah, and it is a little bit, but the problem is that every day, all day, having a little bit of something adds up to a lot of something. And so you don't, it really makes a huge impact. And if you know better, you know that, hey, this chapstick's probably slammed with chemicals. Here's this one from Primally Pure that's not, like, just make the swap. It's such a huge upgrade. You're going to feel better. It's going to help you in so many more ways than you could think of. I know it feels weird. Like, does it really matter? It does really matter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you have any other simplicity, like really simple practices for people when you think of a simple daily practice that has a really profound impact on somebody's health that you haven't mentioned yet?
Well, one would actually be making it mental health. It's like mental strain, decisions, anxiety, worry, guilt. That was something I had to let go of in order to heal. So in order to heal, you too have to let go of this. You have to care less about everything. You have to make decisions easier and faster. You have to care less about making the perfect situation happen. If something bad happens, you have to learn how to become more resilient and see that bad thing or that failure as a lesson and an opportunity to grow. You have to be able to care. I don't even think it's really stressing less. I think really if you start to think of it as caring less, it makes it easier to achieve. And that was essential for me. And in all aspects of life. But as you're caring less, you're in nature stressing less. And if you're making decisions easier or not so overwhelmed or not, totally torn up because your plans got changed or you wanted to do this and this happened instead, or you had a failure or a setback or something happened, instead of completely letting that derail you, just be like, oh, well, I'll do this instead. Oh, ooh, that sucked. Here's the lesson. I'm going to do this next time. Okay, I'm glad that happened. Now I can move on and I'm going to make sure I don't do that again. It is transformational to your health journey and it is absolutely going to help you heal. But if you're stuck in that state, it's going to really be really hard. You can get the testing done. You can switch out your makeup products. You can eat the perfect diet. But if you are mentally stressed and still in that situation, it's going to be a constant battle for you. And so that's one area we did not dive into that I think is critical for all people going through a health journey.
Mm-hmm. That's so good. I completely agree. And it's like if you're super stressed about making a decision and then you make the decision after stressing over it so much and then you feel like, oh no, I made the wrong decision. It's like, how do you even know if you made the wrong decision? Like, how do you know that if you had made the other decision, you wouldn't have the exact same result or maybe a worse result? So it's like just going with that decision and sticking with it. And then, like you said, looking at it as either a gift or a lesson and then learning from that and moving on is literally just the best that we can do as a human being.
Mm-hmm. That's why I say care less, because if it's like, learn to make decisions easier or learn to reduce stress. Like I feel like that's a harder thing to tackle. But if you just kind of train yourself to care less about things and to go with the flow, in nature, you're going to be making decisions easier. You're going to be able to, embrace whatever path you did decide to go on and see where it leads, and then adjust and pivot as you go. So it sounds so weird and definitely not like science, terminology, but caring less really is going to help you in your health journey.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I have to ask this question. You have 3 kids, you have a thriving career, you have a product company, you've written a book, you have, your consulting business, all this stuff going on. I know you also enjoy your life, you travel, you have fun. How do you do it all? What are some personal routines or habits that you feel like have really helped you maintain your lifestyle and get everything done?
You are right. I do a lot. So one thing that really helps me that I've identified with myself, that I never realized it was a thing until I saw all these other people doing it the other way. It kind of aligns with the care less. I do not put crazy pressure on myself in any of the situations that you mentioned for things to be perfect or for things to go a certain way. I don't have this like crazy huge timeline on when I have to hit this amount in my business, or when I need this amount of employees, or this needs to happen. Like, I don't have that timeline and pressure on myself, because at the core of everything I do, it's always been about being a mom and prioritizing my wellness and helping people in the world. And as I stick to those core values, like everything else that comes up in life or everything else that happens, it just is allowed to happen day by day, year by year, and it continues to add up. I don't rush to some timeline, but I have had some crazy, amazing successes in a short amount of time. Even though I have, 3 kids, I started my first business when the first was born. So lots of kids during a short period of time while building multiple companies. We moved to 4 different cities in the first 3 years of building both of our companies. So several new houses. I mean, just like a lot, we traveled all around the world, all abroad, a lot. So what I do is I really am great at focusing on the core thing that I want to achieve. I actually call it the bare minimum. I focus on the bare minimum core thing that I want to achieve in business. And as I focus on that, and I'm super efficient with the 2 hours a day that I'm sitting down to work, like 2 hours, I'm zoned in, I know exactly the bare minimum thing I want to focus on, then, 3 months down the road, I've crushed that goal and it's time for the next. And so by focusing on one thing at a time, come 1 year later, to the outsider, people are always like, how the heck did you do all that? You had a baby, you got a book deal, you launched this thing, you did this. I'm not doing it all at the same time. I'm simply addressing one thing at a time, crushing it, moving on to the next. Okay, moving on to the next. And so that's what allows me to kind of stack these achievements, even though I'm not working 24/7. In fact, I don't even work part-time hours. And I never have, even since the very first business that we started. It really just comes down to, again, just the family, the freedom, the flexibility, the prioritizing and wellness, and the helping people live a healthier, happier life. Like, those are the core values. And so we've always just kind of stayed grounded in that. Now, I guess some tangible things. So that's really like the through line of everything that's helpful. But there are some things that help me day to day. Number 1, nutrition. I don't feel like crap. And when you don't feel like crap, you're able to think more clearly. If you have 2 hours, you're not like brain fog wondering what to do. You're like on fire, ready to go to work on the business or to take the kids somewhere or to schedule a travel or whatever it is. So I feel good. And when you feel good, you can do great things. And so number 1 thing for me of that is nutrition, 100%. It's what I eat. That impacts me more than anything. I absolutely do not get great sleep. Period. I do not. So it's not sleep. It's not activity. It's not the toxins. It's nutrition for me. Is like the number 1 thing that if it's off, I will not feel my best. And if it's on point, I will feel my best. And I eat for energy, and that's what fuels me. And then other things is delegation. So as I've grown my businesses, I'm not afraid to delegate. I have the most amazing, small but mighty team of people who work with us full time, and they're phenomenal, and I adore them. They love what they do, and that's why I'm able to be able to spend all day with my kiddos, because the business is still running on the back end. So the team and delegation in the business, delegation in the family life. Throughout the years, we've had nothing crazy consistent, but we always have a cleaner, maybe a housekeeper, maybe a nanny part-time, somebody to help us out in the home. And this allows us to have more time to go play with the kids versus cleaning the kitchen again, whatever it is. So family delegation. And then I would say that another thing that I do really well is systems in the business. So it's kind of like boring, but I'm not always launching every month or doing this whole new thing every month. I'm really focused on systems that help people in the best way, whether it's with their health or with building their business in our other company, help people in the best way with the best program supported by the best team and the best curriculum and all the best stuff for them, and optimizing that versus creating new things every few months. We're optimizing and enhancing our core programs over the years instead of completely creating from scratch brand new stuff all the time. And this, I think, really helps as well to just stay focused. I hope that was helpful with some like tangible stuff that helps.
I think so. I think you gave both for people who are interested, who like maybe have a business or busy work life, and also who, you know, maybe they don't and they're just curious about health things, because even just the mention about delegating the house stuff, maybe someone doesn't have a ton of money and they can't have a housekeeper, a nanny, all this stuff going on, but maybe you could have that happen once per month. Maybe you could, I talk to so many women who they're doing all of the chores and all the things themselves. You can also delegate through the family, right? You can have the kids help, you can have your husband help. So there's so many ways to start to look at your time, your delegation. Sometimes I even have people look at their social, like pick up your phone and look at how long you've been on social media throughout the week. And okay, let's put some time blocks on that. So, and then really start focusing on other things in your life to clear out space. And then, as you said, like nutrition and just working on your health overall makes you feel so much better to be able to get everything done that you need to. So yes, you definitely answered my questions and such good tips for everybody.
One last thing is being grateful for everything. Like I really am genuinely grateful for things, and I approach things with gratitude and like excitement. So even before I had a housekeeper or a cleaner or anyone helping with the family, because I did not have the money or even know that that was an option, because I didn't see that like really growing up. Even before all of that, say it was time to clean the house. And I like literally would spend 8 hours on a Saturday cleaning the house, right? I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to that. I would still be like excited about it because I would know at the end it would feel so fresh, and I'd feel so good when I'm like going to bed that night and it's all done. I would put on some music. I would like get in the mood. I would maybe put a hair mask in. Like I would put coconut oil in my hair and put a hair bun in so that in the hours that I'm cleaning, I'm also moisturizing my hair. And I would figure out a way to make this task that maybe other people are complaining about or frustrated about or annoyed that they have to do or procrastinating. I would just do it in an exciting way from more of a place of gratitude, even though it's just cleaning your house. And that is just such a huge shift in your mental state and in your ability to grow. And that's probably what allowed me to get to where I am, to where now I can have somebody who does that for our family. And so one thing about that is just like constant gratitude, even during a very mundane task.
Yeah. And I love the excitement part. It's like, if you hate doing the dishes or hate cleaning the house, how can you make it exciting and fun? That should be homework for everybody listening to this episode. Like, go figure out how you can make the mundane and the things you dislike more enjoyable so that you can feel good throughout your day. Well, Maggie, this has been amazing. Are you open to doing a quick speed round of questions?
Yes. Yeah, sure.
Before we go. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So first thing that comes to your mind, what is one supplement that you couldn't live without?
Vitamin D3, K2.
Okay. What is your favorite thing to do for stress reduction?
Infrared sauna.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Oh my gosh, that's a good one. I travel. We like to travel. And if you could just be there in a second, that would be amazing. So I guess transport anywhere.
Yeah, that's mine. I want to. If you could eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, my favorite meal really is like a cold salad with warmth on top. So I'll do like something warm. It could be roasted veggies on top of salad. And then I always, like, my favorite thing would be goat cheese and then hot salmon on top of the cold salad with goat cheese and like a nut and then some different roasted veggies on top of the lettuce. I love that.
Delicious. And last question, if you could leave the listeners with one tip that they can implement this week to help them live a healthier, happier life, what would that be?
Simplify. Simplify your routine, simplify your mind, simplify your sleep, simplify your supplements, the foods you're eating, your house. Just, I feel like if you focus on simplify, things start to get a little easier to focus on, you know, the core things. Kind of like I was talking about in the business, like what are the bare minimum things that you can do this week that are going to impact your health? Those bare minimum things add up to a massive improvement in your health and your life and your business and all around.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. Can you share where people can find you and then any last things you want to share with the audience?
Well, I'm just glad that I got to share with this. I hope this was helpful to whoever's listening right now, where it allows you to feel like you have the hope and the direction to feel your very best, because you deserve to feel your very best in life. The best place, since this is all health and wellness related, would be eat2treat.com. It's the title of the book, Eat to Treat. And if you go to eat2treat.com, that's where you can find more information about the book, resources, quizzes, lab ordering access, all these different things that you can do to help level up your life. And then I'm on social media. My name, Maggie Berghoff. So Maggie_Berghoff is where I am on social media platforms, everywhere.
Great. We'll have all that stuff in the show notes. It's been a pleasure, Maggie. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like this video and comment, letting me know what you enjoyed and what you want to see more of. Also, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you get alerts when new content is coming out and you don't miss any videos. And just a quick reminder that this information is for educational and entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any illness or medical condition. Please consult with a qualified healthcare professional before making any changes to your diet, exercise routine, supplements, or medical treatment. If you're looking for a functional medicine practitioner, please reach out to me. And thank you again for watching, and keep striving to become your healthiest, happiest self.